The episode opens with intense action as Quinn arrives at the widow's mansion with his clippers and loyal followers, launching a fierce assault on her compound. The attack is both strategic and personal, as Quinn seeks to eliminate the widow who has been challenging his authority and disrupting the established order in the Badlands. During the chaos of the battle, MK manages to infiltrate the widow's private office and steals a mysterious ancient book that will prove significant to the overarching mythology of the series. This book contains secrets about Azra, the legendary city that holds special meaning for those with supernatural abilities like MK. The confrontation between Quinn and the widow is particularly brutal and personal. Quinn, driven by rage and the need to maintain his dominance, manages to overpower Minerva, the widow, in hand-to-hand combat. He knocks her to the ground and prepares to execute her with his sword, but suddenly experiences one of his severe headaches, a symptom of his brain tumor that has been progressively worsening. This moment of vulnerability allows Sunny to arrive and help the widow escape. Back at Quinn's fortified compound, the domestic drama unfolds with equal intensity to the physical battles. Jade and Lydia are in Ryder's room, where he lies recovering from his serious injuries sustained in the previous episode. The tension between the two women is palpable and multifaceted. Lydia, Quinn's first wife and Ryder's mother, harbors deep resentment toward Jade, Quinn's newer, younger wife. Their confrontation is interrupted by Mari, one of Quinn's trusted servants, who brings urgent news that the Clippers have returned from their mission. The two women must set aside their personal animosity to deal with more pressing matter. In a pivotal scene, MK presents Sunny with the stolen book from the widow's office, explaining that it contains information about Azra, the mythical city that represents hope and answers for those with supernatural abilities. The family dysfunction reaches a boiling point when Lydia confronts Quinn about his handling of the widow situation. She's furious that he allowed their most dangerous enemy to escape, questioning his judgment and leadership. More personally and painfully, she accuses him of not caring about their son Ryder's condition and well-being. This accusation cuts deep because it touches on Quinn's greatest fear, that his illness and the pressures of leadership are making him a failure as both a baron and a father. Lydia's words are calculated to hurt, and they succeed in exposing Quinn's vulnerabilities. During this heated exchange, Jade observes from nearby, witnessing the breakdown of the family she's married into. Quinn, unable to tolerate Lydia's criticisms and feeling cornered, storms out and immediately seeks comfort with Jade. Lydia watches this display with obvious pain and disgust, her expression revealing the deep hurt of a woman who has been replaced and whose concerns are being dismissed. Meanwhile, Sunny continues MK's training with the Clippers. In a practical lesson, he places MK on the compound's fence wall and pushes him, explaining that this is part of learning to survive in their world. The training is harsh but necessary, reflecting the brutal reality of life in the Badlands. Later, Sunny and MK stand together on the fence wall, where Sunny reveals crucial information about potential escape routes from the Badlands. He warns MK that he must listen carefully and follow instructions exactly, or they will both be killed. MK, eager to become more self-sufficient, asks Sunny to teach him how to fight properly so he can defend himself. Sunny agrees to this request, recognizing that MK will need these skills to survive. In a tender moment between Quinn and Jade after their intimate encounter, Jade broaches the subject of Ryder's condition. She reveals that she's seen him and knows someone who might be able to help heal him. However, she acknowledges that Lydia would never approve of this unconventional solution. Quinn, perhaps motivated by guilt over Lydia's earlier accusations or genuine concern for his son, suggests that if Jade can help Ryder recover, it might earn Lydia's forgiveness and acceptance. Following through on her promise, Jade approaches Vale, the compound's healer and Sunny's secret lover, asking for her help in treating Ryder. Jade's desperation is evident as she explains that she cannot bear to watch Ryder die, nor can she simply abandon him to his fate. This request puts Vale in a difficult position, as treating the Baron's son would expose her to significant scrutiny and potential danger. Sunny takes MK to meet Waldo, an experienced fighter who can provide more advanced combat training. The session begins immediately, with Waldo and MK engaging in sparring that quickly reveals MK's inexperience and limitations. Waldo easily defeats MK in their practice bout, illustrating how much the young man still needs to learn. When Jade and Vale enter Ryder's room to begin treatment, they encounter immediate resistance from Lydia, who views Vale's involvement as inappropriate and beneath their family status. Lydia's objections are both classist and protective. She doesn't believe a common healer should treat her son, the heir to a baron's empire. However, Vale's professional assessment is stark and undeniable. Without proper treatment, Ryder will die before morning. She reluctantly allows Vale to proceed with the treatment, seeking to turn the tables after Quinn's assault on her compound. The widow arrives at a strategic location with her daughter Tilda and her loyal followers. Recognizing the need for intelligence and leverage, she sends Tilda on a crucial mission to the dollhouse, to locate and extract Angelica, whose life has become endangered due to the escalating conflict between the barons. During Vale's treatment of Ryder, Quinn enters the room and thanks her for her efforts to save his son. However, his gratitude is mixed with suspicion and control. He reveals that he's aware of Vale's romantic relationship with Sunny, using this knowledge as leverage over both of them. In a particularly tense moment, when Ryder appears to improve and asks for water, Quinn intervenes dramatically, snatching the glass away from Vale and forbidding her from giving Ryder anything to drink. Sunny's investigation into the widow's whereabouts leads him to Ringo, one of the widow's former associates. However, Ringo claims ignorance about the widow's location, though he hints that he would share information if he had it. This scene is interrupted by the arrival of one of Quinn's clippers, who summons Sunny back to the compound, cutting short his investigation. When Sunny returns to Ryder's room, he encounters Vale leaving and questions her about her activities. Vale, unable to fully explain her involvement in the medical treatment due to the secrecy required, gives evasive answers that only increase Sunny's concerns. Inside Ryder's room, despite his weakened condition, Ryder manages to convey crucial information to Sunny about Angelica's situation. He reveals that she's being held at the dollhouse as part of some scheme involving the TikTok club. Sunny and MK arrive at the dollhouse, where Sunny enters the building while MK remains outside as a lookout. However, their mission becomes complicated when Tilda arrives and confronts MK, accusing him of betraying her trust and lying to her about his loyalties. MK attempts to explain his actions, telling Tilda that Minerva, the widow, is as manipulative and dangerous as Quinn, and that both leaders use people for their own ends. He reveals that his deception was motivated by a desire to avoid being exploited by either side in their conflict. Inside the dollhouse, Sunny locates Angelica, but their confrontation quickly turns violent. In the ensuing fight, tragedy strikes when Angelica, whether by accident or desperation, falls from the upper floor to her death. This shocking turn of events transforms what was meant to be a rescue mission into a devastating failure. Witnessing Angelica's death, MK immediately warns Tilda to flee. Sunny and MK return to Vale's home, so she can treat Sunny's injuries from the fight. During the medical treatment, Vale reveals a crucial piece of information. Quinn has discovered their secret romantic relationship, which means they can no longer meet safely or openly. In Ryder's room, Lydia's frustration and disappointment with her son reach a breaking point. She confronts him about his disobedience to his father and his deceptive behavior, expressing her belief that Quinn may be right about Ryder's unsuitability to inherit the Baron's position. Her harsh words cut deeply, and Ryder, despite his weakened state, angrily orders his mother to leave his room. Lydia complies, but her departure represents a further fracturing of the family unit and Ryder's increasing isolation within his own household. In Quinn's office, a significant political conversation takes place between Quinn and Sunny. Quinn reveals his strategic thinking about forming an alliance with another baron, specifically someone who doesn't harbor the same level of hatred toward him that most other barons do. When Sunny suggests Jacoby as a potential ally, Quinn seizes on this idea and instructs Sunny to re-establish diplomatic contact with Cypher, Jacoby's representative, to explore the possibility of forming this crucial alliance. Sunny agrees to undertake this diplomatic mission. MK enters Sunny's room carrying the mysterious book about Azra, seeking to learn more about its contents and significance. Simultaneously, in another part of the compound, Jade maintains a vigil beside Ryder's bed, holding his hand in a gesture of care and concern. However, their quiet moment is interrupted when Quinn unexpectedly enters the room. Jade quickly stands and informs Quinn that Ryder is sleeping. During the same night, Sunny meets with Cypher as instructed, discussing the possibility of arranging a meeting between Jacoby and Quinn. Cypher agrees to make efforts to facilitate this potentially crucial diplomatic encounter, and they part ways with their respective missions clear. Back at the widow's compound, Tilda approaches her mother seeking forgiveness for her failure to save Angelica. The widow questions her about whether she noticed the missing book from her office, but Tilda claims not to have seen it. The episode concludes with MK arriving at Vale's home, bringing the mysterious book and asking for her help in deciphering its contents. Vale examines the ancient text but admits that she cannot understand the language in which it's written, adding to the mystery surrounding Azra and its secrets. Their examination of the book is interrupted when Quinn unexpectedly enters Vale's home. He thanks her again for her assistance in treating Ryder and makes a request for her help with his own medical condition, likely related to his brain tumor. During this conversation, MK remains hidden, witnessing this interaction and gaining insight into the complex relationships and power dynamics that govern life in the Badlands.